So don't think about any giraffes. Now you get it. That's free will, which we don't have. But it's okay, because what we have is far better. We have is affect, and we have this decision-making power. Not like tons of decisions. You get to decide to do something or not to do it. You get to decide you like something or you don't like something. And this is fundamentally the most important thing you could ever have. Anyone talking about, oh, this free will, like any of the quantum, none of that, all right? All of that is just misunderstood nonsense, right? And I'm gonna show you. Now, this is spooky action at a distance. Einstein was a genius, don't get me wrong. You're watching YouTube right now, right? Understand that there's microwaves shooting through your walls and it's a YouTube video I'm talking. See that? So first of all, you should never use your own perception system in the data. You have no information on this system and how it works and how it's functioning differently with respect to your data or anyone else's. Fact of the matter is you have a motor and a sensory homunculi. This is known. And the motor and the sensory homunculi are literally a model that is built when you are a child based on your input-output system. It's known that you have this motor and this sensory homunculi. I'm not certain if it's just an intent to manipulate people or if it's just ignorance when it comes to what a model is. And so how do you know that you can't trust the data that's coming in directly for acquisitioning and you should only trust machines? Well, first of all, everything. This is mostly empty space. It's a crystal lattice. We determined this a long time ago. The fact that you see it as a solid is simply because that is the simplest representation of it. Just like you see liquids as being able to see through them because of their movement, the same way you represent everything for any reason. It's the simplest, most data efficient way to go. I also have a video where I demonstrate that if your brain was to function the way in which Doctor said, it would break Volta's law, current law, information theory. Nearly 2 petabytes of data in your brain, some a little more or less. At 120 bits of resolution a second, you are unable to even acquisition your own memories appropriately, which is why some people are able to be coerced. This is why you can't tell me what you had 23 days ago, 43 days ago, and the day before that. So now we've also had the placebo effect. That's a very well-known cause. Let's see here. You see frequencies as color. You didn't choose those colors and you don't know how that actually works. So you have these 2 nerves that work, right? Basically left, right, and they only update for 2 situations. One, if there's an overall change in lux, which means if you're staring at an object and the brightness doesn't change, it doesn't move, then you don't update, right? Now, if the object starts to move, you don't update again unless your eyes are focused at the exact point. And that's based on where your blind spot lines up. You actually have, if the distance to an object doesn't change and the overall lux does not change, then you can use the intensity of the shadow, basically, that is correlated to the frequency of the light. And so that is evidence right there that you are acquisitioning data in a uncontrolled way. And the fact that it is mapped to data that we have no idea if it's consistent with one another's, it's just consistent enough to use. I think I mentioned Nyquist frequency. Basically at 120 bits a second, anything that goes above 60 or so hertz becomes completely aliased and it's useless information. At this point it becomes modeled. This is why if you look at a flashing LED, it just looks like it's brighter. You don't see it on and off randomly as it should be. When you see tires and they're rotating and they get too fast, you don't see them tracking back and forth as you should. When you see helicopter blades go past your frequency rate, you don't see that. That is a result of the autonomic nervous system controlling the input-output, right? And what does it control the input-output for? It does this to create a mental model based on the simplest of the information. This is evident because we have what's called the pseudo-unipolar neuron. It is basically what doctors believe is just a bidirectional that is used for acquisitioning data. But if it's bidirectional and when you think you have synapses, that means there's an electrical field created right near that, which is going to have a direct input into the system. Now this can be checked and this is evident because when you have happy or good thoughts, your heart rate will change. If you have depressing or sad thoughts, your heart rate will change as well. If you hear tires screeching in the background, you don't really get to decide whether or not to turn around. Just like if the doctor hits your knee with a hammer, you kick. Now, regardless of gravitational force, the acceleration due to centripetal force is your velocity squared divided by the radius of curvature. The fact that the moon varies around 40 or so million meters a day shows you that there is energy in the system that is not being accounted for due to mass that has to be there. This is the basics of even how you would draw that shape. There are 2 focus points, and I'll update this right now. You take a look. All right, now I'm going to start showing you some information and some assumptions. At any point in time you disagree, please let me know. So we're going to start off with the basic assumption that even if you don't believe in the gravitational constant described here, we can all at least accept the fact that gravity does change with respect to the distance from the object. Otherwise, we'd all be crushed, on a neutron star right now, or we would feel the gravitational constant change when we're on the moon versus on Earth. All right. So now that we know it's different with respect to your distance from an object, we also have what we'd like to call centripetal force. If you've ever been inside a vehicle, use that little steering thing in front of you, you feel your body moving left and right as you move left and right while progressing forward. That is going to be taking, this is going to be a force, right? And a force times a distance is going to give you what's called work in joules. And now joules is something that is finite, and as that decreases over time, so too with the orbit. So now that we understand that, we can accept the fact that you have to have, let's go ahead and look at that situation now. You have to have this right here, right? If you're going around a focus point like this, you're going to need 2 points at the very, very least. Otherwise, your acceleration at this point right here, due to the gravity, is going to be much higher than right here. And that'll cause, obviously, a decay where you're going to shoot off into the distance and never return. So just based on that alone, the fact that we have a moon and an Earth that are both on orbits that are similar to this, not constant. Like I said, the moon is varying by about 40 or so million meters a day. We can accept the fact that there are things right here in our solar system, very nearby, that are outside of your view or kept from your view, and so we should just go ahead and stop using our personal perception to make decisions on actual data. All right, here we go. There's another one right here. Oh. Yeah, you see that's a square wave going right through my body, and I can't even feel it. See that? Let's get a little more fine-tuned than that. See that? It's not coming from the plug, obviously, right? What's that? That's the autonomic nervous system sending an electrical signals through my body, through my fluids. Understand that if your autonomic nervous system is capable of contracting all of your arteries by the time you stand up to maintain the blood pressure, you cannot use your conscious perception system, which is acquisitioning left, right, and it's doing so as the image needs to be updated to create a mental model you literally build at night in your dreams. What do you think what do you think REM is? Random eye movement? That is your autonomic nervous system literally going through your memories. It's pulling out data based on your emotional integrity, right? So things that are emotionally attached to it's gonna remain, and things that are emotionally irrelevant are not. It's literally a machine designed to alter your information based on emotional relevance. So this is completely nonsense. I mean, just the fact that they say, they say that there's no way in which, how do they know that? People always say, are you telling me this isn't real? You telling me this isn't real? Yes, I'm telling you this isn't real. This is a real model of this. But that doesn't mean that what you're seeing is what's there. We know this is true because this is a crystal lattice. It's mostly empty space. I've said that so many times already. Understand that colors don't exist. It's just a representation, right? Now, I would love to have more data coming in, but honestly, actually, no, I don't. I need to calm things down. Please like, share, and subscribe, or ask some questions. I got a lot of stuff going on, but I like to answer questions.